members of the Board of Education, members of the Superintendency, Mr. Simon, faculty, guests, and fellow students. Henry David Thoreau wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, to see if I could not learn what it had to teach." And so today, we too have gone into the woods, learning and growing upon each new encounter. Today, not only do we graduate from high school, but from a phase of life as we take the step from adolescence to adulthood. Our parents, teachers, family, and friends have been there to lead us, to guide us, and at times to let us roam. We have shared in the experiences that have molded us into the individuals we have become as we, like Thoreau, learn the essentials of life. Today, upon our graduation from high school, we take with us these essentials that will enable us to plant our own trees in the woods.
Will the audience please rise and join us in the flag salute and the national anthem? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cherry Hill High School West graduation of the class of 1992. Family, friends, teachers, administration, and Board of Education members. We are here to honor this class and join them on this joyous occasion. Before we go on with the ceremonies, I want to express to our guests the concerns that the class of 1992 has for its graduation. It is the expressed wish of this class that this be a dignified, beautiful graduation. We have planned and worked hard to make it perfect. Therefore, we ask the audience cooperation. Please remain seated until the graduates begin to sing the alma mater. Give us the opportunity to honor each student. I would now like to introduce our platform guests and ask them to stand. From the Board of Education, Mr. David Molotsky, President. Dr. Patrick Carroll, Vice President. Mr. John Gailey. Mrs. Kathy Howitt. Mrs. Faith Jerome. Mr. James Marino. Mr. Stephen Polanski. Dr. Preston Pulliams. And Mr. Benjamin Traina. From the Superintendency, Dr. Philip Esbrandt, Superintendent of Schools. Mr. Anthony Cost, Deputy Superintendent. Dr. Robert Ferris, Assistant Superintendent. Dr. Richard Surface, Assistant Superintendent. Mr. Thomas Redmond, Assistant Superintendent, Board Secretary. Dr. Richard Levy, Curriculum Supervisor, K-12. Mr. Harold Melleby, Principal of the Malberg School Program. We ask this evening to join us on the podium also the principals of the junior school and the elementary schools which have provided the students who you see here before you. We would ask Dr. Max Wald, the principal of John Carusi Junior School, to stand. Mr. Barry Adler, principal of Thomas Paine Elementary School. Mr. Seymour Wallach, principal of Joyce Kilmer Elementary School. And retiring after 27 years as principal, Mr. John Byrne, principal, Clara Barton Elementary School. Also accompanying me are Mr. Nick Lorenzetti, House Principal for the class of 1992, Mr. Larry Casto, Advisor to the class of 1992, and members of the class who will be participating in this evening's exercises: Scott Greenbaum, James McNaughton, Daniel Rabinowitz, Adam Goldberg, Eliza Perez, Brian Simmers. At this time, would the faculty members who have come to help us honor these young people please stand and be recognized? These are the professional staff who have chosen to spend their lives in the field of education, helping young people prepare for the future. To you, our seniors, I know that I express sentiments from all of us when I say, our hope is that we have prepared you well so that you leave us to go on to be independent, productive members of our society. I thank all of the faculty for helping to give our students a beautiful commencement. Thank you, and be seated. Graduation is the official school ceremony of our calendar year. As we honor our graduates, so we acknowledge our teachers who have brought distinction to themselves and to our school. In recognizing a teacher to be named here, I note the dedication, the professionalism, and the expertise of our entire faculty. This teacher is respected by many for her high standards and teaching skills, as well as her interest in all students and their successes. I pay tribute to Celeste McMenamin, a member of the West English Department, who was chosen to be this year's recipient of the Governor's Teacher Recognition Award. We salute her for her years of dedicated service to the students of Cherry Hill. I would also like to recognize two of our staff who are officially retiring this year. All of us join in acknowledging the fine work of Science Department Chair Gene Rubenstein and Jazz and Orchestra Director Chuck Williams. We thank you for all of your efforts on behalf of our Cherry Hill High School West students. We wish you well. Graduation is also a time of pride and accomplishments. From a science department which produced a Physics 1 team which finished first in the state, to a choral program which captured the most overall outstanding trophy at the Festival competition in Williamsburg, Virginia. From an ROTC program that earned honor unit status for the second year in a row, to our indoor color guard, which won numerous state, local, and regional awards. From Aspects, West's literary magazine, which was named as the most overall outstanding in the nation by the American Scholastic Press Association, and also won the highest awards from Columbia Scholastic Press Association and the National Council of Teachers of English. To Mr. Don Thomas Stock Market Team, which placed 9th out of 412 in the state. These collective accomplishments reflect the spirit and dedication of the class of 1992. Individual talent and success also characterizes the class of 1992. From the cosmic intellect of Dan Rabinowitz and Vicki Young, who were two of only 20 students nationally selected to the U.S. physics team, to the cat-like quickness of Kyle Young and John Papineri, who wrestled their way to the best in the state. From the fun and joy David Doss' musical talents brought us with men of note, to peer leaders like Carrie Green, Sarah Fox, and Charles Warrington, who have reached out to new students. From the maturity of Lion's Roar editors Trevor Shaw and Karen Redden, who were not afraid to tackle difficult and sensitive issues, to the fluid grace of Kevin Brickner, Tom Bianco, and Walt Clymer, who made West's outfield a pitcher's dream and an opponent's nightmare. From the beautiful voices of Sarah Duvall and Karen Weinberg on the stage in 42nd Street, to Sarah Seliger and Karen Bender's work with Nature Defense. From Mark Donofrio's creative work in making the senior park a reality, to Eliza Perez and Susan Chan's ability to step forward when the senior government needed someone to carry the ball. The class of 1992 leaves us with such rich memories. Talent also came in unusual packages in this class. From Amy Gray, whose work in DECA and Shop West helped make the supermarket program a success, to her brother Bo, who was named the Philadelphia Inquirer's High School Baseball Player of the Year for the second year in a row. From Jay Jenkins and Mark Bruno, who kept my law class hopping with their strong opinions, to John King and Erica Collins, whose work on the mayor's and district's human relations committees have made us a model for other communities. From the quiet seriousness of valedictorian Jim McNaughton, whose outside interests include a passion for surfing, to the unusual combination of artistic talent and athletic strength that Steve Schmidt possesses. These members of the class have made their mark. The success and talent of this class developed from three main sources: each individual's abilities and attitudes, the instruction and direction provided by the faculty, and perhaps most importantly, from the love and support of parents and family. It is this set of relationships, student, faculty, and parent, which, if working in sync, generates responsible, literate young adults prepared to contribute to our community. I have had the pleasure of working with many of the parents of this class, both on individual issues as well as group projects. But in my opinion, no parent has contributed more to West over the past 2 years than Mona Noyes, the Home and School Association's outgoing president. Mona's energy and vision have fueled events like Project Graduation, evening guidance meetings, and a series of coffees with the principal. For all of your contributions to West, we thank you, Mona. Now may I introduce to you Scott Adam Greenbaum, Governor of the Class of 1992.
Standing before you today, I feel excited, scared, and nervous. Today promises to be the most memorable days of the rest of our lives. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Simon, members of the Board of Education, Superintendency, administrators, faculty, family, friends, and fellow classmates to Cherry Hill West's 1992 graduation. While attending a youth convention, I heard a man tell this story. A father took his son by the hand and told him today was the day he would teach him how to hit a baseball. They quickly gathered their equipment and ran to the backyard. The father embraced his son and told him it wasn't as easy as it looked. You have to take the ball in your left hand and the bat in your right. Toss the ball up into the air while still keeping an eye on it. Get a good grip on the bat, wait for it to drop to shoulder level, take a step forward and swing. But remember, 3 strikes, then you're out. Don't worry, Dad. I know I can do it, said the son. The boy took the ball, threw it into the air, waited until it came down, took a step forward, swung, and missed. That's strike 1. 2 more, then you're out. The son took the ball off the ground, took it in his left hand, and tossed it back into the air. Kept his eye on the ball, got a good grip on the bat, swung, and once again missed. That's 2 strikes, son. 1 more, then you're out. Don't worry, Dad. The first 2, merely practice. Now I'm ready. The boy took the ball, tossed it high into the air, waited for it to come back down, got a good grip on the bat while still keeping his eye on the ball. He swung with all his might and once again missed. I'm sorry, son. That's your third strike. You're out. The boy looked at his father and said, "You're right, Dad. That's my third strike. I'm out. But wow, can I pitch?" In life, we're always going to have times where we don't succeed. The object is to find the positive out of every bad experience and learn from our mistakes. So let us set our goals high and never stop until we're satisfied with the outcome. During our high school career, many memorable events took place. The collapse of communism in the Soviet Union, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, and the Gulf War. As graduates, we must be willing and able to face the responsibilities that lie ahead. My dream for us graduates today is to give our all in every situation. Keep looking for the positive and never stop learning. That's my dream.
Our second student speaker is Daniel Rabinowitz, President of the National Honor Society.
Good evening, Mr. Simon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Esbrandt, members of the Superintendency, families, friends, and fellow classmates. Sir Isaac Newton, often considered to be the greatest scientist who ever lived, once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." For Newton, the giants were men like Tycho Brahe and Johannes Kepler, men who had dedicated their lives to learning about the world they lived in. What Newton never lived to see is that he too became a giant on whose shoulders hundreds of thousands of men and women have stood. This same idea of learning from the experiences of others applies equally well to any one of us as it did for Newton. Those who have most directly supported our efforts to grow and learn are our teachers. Remember freshman English, where our teachers prodded us on, explaining what a thesis was and how to write one. Remember our earth science and QPS teachers explaining the mysteries of the world, and our geometry teachers constantly reminding us that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. But more than the facts that they taught us, we will remember the methods and the ways of thinking that they showed us, because the process of learning is the one thing which cannot be obtained from a textbook. And of course, we all learned that Mr. Simon looks great in spandex. But all of our teachers went beyond teaching. They were coaches for our athletic teams, directors for our musical and theatrical productions, and advisors for our after-school activities. No one here can count the times that we stayed after school to talk with a teacher, a coach, or a guidance counselor. Their caring and dedication was an integral part of the West experience. But as much as it often seemed like it, we didn't spend all of our time at school. Our teachers aren't the only people who helped us and gave us a shove in the right direction. Looking back over the past few years, the memories which stand out most prominently in my mind are the hours I spent with my parents, looking over information from hundreds of colleges and discussing the advantages and disadvantages of each, talking about growing up and living away from home, and of course, discussing what a graduation speech should be and how to write one. I've always thought of our relationship with our parents as a sort of tug of war with a rubber band between us. We pull as hard as we can toward independence, and our parents pull equally hard to keep us from growing up too fast. And all the while, we're all trying to keep the rubber band, this bond which holds us together, from breaking. We have climbed higher and higher upon the shoulders of our giants, and we have seen more and more of the world around us. And every step of the way, our friends have been there. Remember walking out of class after that killer math test and seeing your friends waiting there? Remember passing notes in history or fiddling with those little electric sockets in biology lab? Remember those late-night study sessions when we all got together and crammed as much knowledge and food into our bodies as we possibly could. And best of all, remember walking down the hall, 8th period, on the last day of classes, bursting with the excitement and the knowledge that all of the hard work of the past 4 years was about to culminate in our graduation from high school. We have learned so much in these 4 years, and now as we take our first tentative steps into the great world around us, we have a unique opportunity. We stand on the boundary between adolescence and adulthood. We can use everything we have learned to help others to climb upon our shoulders and to see more of the world around them. Each Tuesday after school, members of the National Honor Society volunteered their time to help students to understand a new idea or to learn a new concept. This tutoring program was our way of reaching out and lending our shoulders for support. If I have one wish for the class of 1992, beyond wishing each of you the best of luck, it is that all of us will make use of our knowledge and share our experiences with those who are younger and know less of the world. This graduation ceremony, these 4 years, are all about tough times and hanging in there and sticking together. It's about the teachers who mixed learning with laughing. It's about you and your best friend running madly around school at 2:35 on a Friday, trying desperately to find Dennis to help open your locker. It's about waiting in line wondering what's for lunch today. It's about looking back at how much we've grown in just a few short years. Remember Isaac Newton, who said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Remember all of the parents, the teachers, and the friends who helped us and stood by us during the past 4 years of the West experience. And most of all, remember us, the Cherry Hill High School West class of 1992. Thank you.
It is a pleasure to introduce the Cherry Hill West Combined Choruses, who will sing an original number composed especially for the class of 1992's commencement.
It's time to go to worlds apart.
valedictorian of the class of 1992, James Robert McNaughton, will deliver the final student commencement address.
Good evening. Mr. Simon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Esbrandt, members of the Superintendency, families, and friends. For a recent English assignment, I was asked to write about one of my earliest childhood memories. After thinking for most of the period, I finally decided to describe the times when my mother would read adventure stories to me each night at bedtime. As I grew older, I discovered that those adventure stories were actually Greek myths. Education had crept up on me and caught me unaware. This memory stands out from all my other childhood experiences because reading with my mother gave me my first opportunity to understand and enjoy the power of written words in stimulating one's imagination. All of us can probably remember a time when in the process of having fun, we realized we were also learning. Without our even knowing, early educational experiences had affected our characters. Only through the simple exercise of remembering can we reflect with hindsight and appreciate the importance of our life experiences. Our past 4 years at Cherry Hill High School West have generated an infinite number of memories that will remain with us for the rest of our lives. But why should the graduating class make a special effort to remember its days at West? The most obvious reason lies in the fact that these memories help to document our transformation from adolescence to adulthood. I could talk at length about the experiences we have shared at West, ranging from athletic championships to academic honors. However, every one of us will leave West with a unique set of diverse memories. We should think about remembering them not only for our personal sake, but also for memory's sake. To illustrate this idea, let me share with you a short story that recently appeared in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Paul was an impatient boy who couldn't wait to marry his love, Alyssa. One day he fell asleep in the woods. Suddenly, an old woman woke him and gave him a silver ball with a gold thread hanging from it. "This is your lifeline," she said. "If you pull the thread, time will fly, but it will be lost forever." Paul took the ball. The next day he wished classes were over and the ball worked. That night he wished he and Alyssa were wed, so he pulled the thread and she and their children appeared. Since they had little money, Paul wished that his children were grown. He again pulled the thread and became very old. As a result, he went to the woods to think. The old woman returned and asked him, "How is your life?" "I don't know," he said. "I never suffered, but it is over. I wish I had it all to remember." Suddenly, Paul was in bed, a little boy again. "Oh, mother," Paul said, "I had a nightmare. I dreamed that I rushed through life and ended up a sad old man." She answered her son, saying, "That is because you had no memories, Paul. Without them, life is not worth living." With these words, Paul greeted the day anew. Like Paul, each one of us can remember a moment when we wish that time would fly or classes would end. During our last few moments as seniors, many of us will fail to stop and remember our West experience. Graduation parties, final farewells, and future plans now control our thinking. Although we are about to enter a new world, we must not lose sight of the past. If we spent 4 years creating enough memories to last us a lifetime, we should make a conscious effort to reflect on them before moving on to create new ones. Memories make life worth living. They comfort us with the knowledge that we have indeed lived our lives and not wasted them. And so, if memories make life worth living, then we should greet each day anew as Paul did. We should take advantage of our final moments together as a class, for these graduation memories will be the sweetest. As we leave Cherry Hill High School West, we take with us an excellent education and meaningful remembrances of both friends and teachers alike. Now, the class of 1992 must greet this graduation day with the knowledge that remembering our memories is just as important as creating them. My wish is that today has been a memorable experience for one and all. Thank you.
Mr. Larry Casto, advisor to the class of 1992, will now deliver his congratulations to the class.
Family and friends of the graduating class, school board, Mr. Simon, Dr. S. Brandt, my esteemed colleagues, and members of the superintendency, and I saved the best for last, the class of '92. As your class advisor, I am also a member of your class. Since we are parting today, I would like to take these last few moments that all of us will ever be together again and share some of my observations about the way of life since you were born. I would like to compare life in 1974, which was around the time most of you were born, with the present time. In 1974, bad meant bad. Now bad can also mean good. In 1974, you always knew what a foreign car was. In 1992, what do you call a Mazda made in Pennsylvania or a Plymouth minivan made in Canada? In '74, when you saw a mouse, you'd kill it. In '92, you'd pay $50 to $100 for one. In '74, a virus described an illness to humans. In '92, computers are susceptible to viruses as well. In '74, Michelangelo was a famous designer and painter of the Renaissance. In '92, he was a computer virus. In '74, AIDS were only helpers who assisted others. In '92, AIDS is a deadly killer. Themes that were X-rated in movies back then are now shown on TV. In '74, VW bugs were everywhere. In '92, minivans are the rage. Corvettes were made entirely by Chevrolet. Today, the ZR1 engine is made by Mercury Marine. In '74, Republicans were Republicans and Democrats were Democrats. Today, when you get past the rhetoric, the major difference is the way they spell their names. Middle of the road seems to be where they both end up. And speaking about spelling, how do you spell potato? P-E-R-O-T? And if so, is this Spud for you? In '92, leaded gas is history, as is the Soviet Union, the Standard Typewriter, Earlton School, the Johnny Carson Show, 8-track tapes, and even records. And Elvis, where is he? And the following changes we now take for granted: credit cards, Mac machines, fax machines, cordless phones, 800 numbers, 900 numbers, 911, home computers, digital clocks, guys wearing earrings, smoke alarms, cable TV, cordless drills, plastic cars, camcorders, video stores, laser disc CDs, Reebok, LA Gear, Nike, chicken hot dogs, telephone answering machines, motion detector lights, heart transplants, laser surgery, test tube babies, cosmetic contact lenses, lawn doctors, tuna helper, Wendy's, Taco Bell, and the list could go on. There have indeed been many changes in our way of life in the last 18 years. Most people tend to think the past was the best, and there's a firm belief that today's students are not as good as those in the past. But many students in the past could not have survived the personal, technological, and curricular changes you graduates have had to face. You students graduating in '92 have to be more knowledgeable than those graduating in '74. And as individuals, more has been expected of you. Drugs were not the problem in '74 that they are today. You have had to survive in a much more competitive and demanding world than the class of '74. You've had to cope with a much more complicated society where such things as single-parent households and higher divorce rates touch every one of us, and where Hollywood and the media have generated such confusing signals about morality. And you've had to put up with an older public who feels that they had all the answers and that nothing significant has happened since the prime time of their lives. The very people who blame many of today's problems on young people are the same people who had control over those problems but failed to master them. Apparently, those people haven't seen you like I have seen you. They haven't looked past the wild haircuts, the crazy clothes, and the seemingly bizarre music that you listen to. Maybe they just forgot what it was like to be a teenager. But I have seen the real you. I've seen you laugh. I've seen you cry. I've seen you on stage. I've seen you studying your brains out for an exam. I've seen some of you in the hospital. I've seen you reaching out to others when they can't cope alone with serious personal situations. I've seen the way you really care about others. You seem to be more concerned about ecology than any generation before you. You have volunteered your time and yourselves more than any before. You have observed so many of the complicated problems that your peers have had to face, and you are genuinely concerned about them. You have reached out to others through such programs as peer leadership, Students Against Drunk Driving, Respect for Drug Program, the Project Graduation Committee, and in your many personal relationships. Every one of you will leave someone behind at West who will miss you and always wonder what became of you. So do stop back and say hi someday. Congratulations to all of you. The world is waiting. Fulfill your dreams. I, for one, am proud of you and know that in 30 or 40 years, the world will be a better place because of you.
At this time, Mr. Nick Lorenzetti will announce the names of the students from the class of 1992 who have received special scholarships, awards, and honors.
At this time, it is my privilege to acknowledge those graduates who have earned various awards and scholarships based on their commendable accomplishments, talents, and skills. The specifics of these awards and scholarships are printed in this evening's program. I ask each graduate to stand and to remain standing until all names have been called. And I ask those in attendance to please hold their applause until the introduction of these students has been completed. Our first acknowledgement is of those graduates who throughout the course of their 4 years at High School West have achieved academic excellence and thus are ranked at the top of their class. The following students are graduating this evening summa cum laude: Cecilia Clara Beyer, Irene Goncharovsky, Anitha Sarah John, David A. Less, Scott Brian Love, James Robert McNaughton, Maria Jennifer Piconia. And the following students are graduating this evening magna cum laude: Christopher Michael Banks, Susan Chon, Andrew Trowbridge Hill, Jennifer Donald Lem, Sean Richard McFarland, Daniel J. Rabinowitz, Sarah Schneiderman, Sarah Rachel Seliger, Pamela Karen Cito, and Sherry Pam Sklar. Let us congratulate these students. Please be seated. At this time, it is also our privilege to acknowledge and congratulate those students whose musical talents and abilities have won them various awards and recognitions throughout the course of their high school career. They are Cecilia Clara Beyer, Bridget Ann Bain, Elaine Elizabeth Komentowski, David Mark Doss, Toby Celine Davidow, Edward Anthony Dietrich Jr., Sarah Catherine Duvall, Michael James Escuti, Jamie John Exley, Aaron Harry Goodman, Gavriel Moshe Haina, Jennifer Donald Lem, Christine Jennifer Murray, Daniel J. Rabinowitz, David James Watson, Jeffrey Forrest Wenzel, and Rebecca Lee Wright. Let us congratulate these students. Please be seated. Each year, plaques and monetary awards are given by the Cherry Hill High School West Home and School Association in recognition of outstanding accomplishments in each of the disciplines. This year, the Home and School Association recognized and awarded the following students: Wadith Stockinger Nader, Irene Goncharovsky, Christopher James Musso, Hosanna Catherine Smith, Anna Sylvia Greger, Sarah Karen Schneiderman, Elizabeth Ann Atkins, Kevin Barry Brickner, Louis Francis Ernst Jr., James Robert McNaughton, Aaron Harry Goodman, John Russell Sermonara, Daniel J. Rabinowitz, David A. Less, and Randall Lee Sela. Congratulations to these students. With a gratitude to those businesses, organizations, and clubs which have recognized the many talents and skills of our graduates, we announce now the names of those students who are the recipients of local scholarships. They are Nikki Arbiter, Amy Beth Augustine, Lisa Marie Almiller, Christopher Michael Banks, Karen Joe Bender, Marcus Joseph Berarducci, Thomas Nunzio Bianco, Arthur Mario Cesaro III, Elaine Elizabeth Komentowski, Susan Chan, Jennifer Lynn Dodato, Tiffany Susan D'Amico, Donna Gloria Daniello, Toby Celine Davidow, Mark Charles Donofrio, Ernest Andrew Ferrani, Jeffrey Mark Giginti, Amy Beth Gray, Carolyn Jennifer Green, Heather Brooke Gross, John W. Heller Jr., Brandy Marie Jericho, Anitha Sarah John, Angela Yong Sin Kim, John B. King Jr., Young Min Kwan, David A. Less, Scott Brian Love, James Robert McNaughton, Lori Suzanne Melson, David Francis Patella, Maria Jennifer Piconia, Tyler Pinney, David Justin Peschel, Daniel J. Rabinowitz, Karen Christine Redden, Lisa Ann Sassano, Elisa Marie Skoka, Stephen John Schmidt, Abdul Jabbar Seegers, Sarah Rachel Seliger, Gina Marie Sierra, Liesel Alexandra Shuzan, Melissa Ann Speckman, Monique Michelle Vitali, Karen Elaine Weinberg, and Rebecca Lee Wright. Congratulations, students. Please be seated.
On behalf of the class of 1992, Adam Goldberg will offer the students farewell.
Good evening. We are gathered here tonight to join this man and woman in holy matrimony. Oh, excuse me, wait, wrong speech. Here we go. Before we close the book completely and store the memories of our childhood, I would like to say to our teachers, members of the board, the superintendency, and our parents, to the class of 92, thank you. To my classmates, I'd like to say, store the memories. We've been through a lot together, from elementary school through junior high school, and now finally through high school. The highlights are different for each of us. I remember Monday night roller skating parties, cut and paste, some rules we didn't follow, Mount Misery, Friday night dances, the rivalry we had with Beck, Mrs. Stewart, and Dr. Carusi. Spirit Week. I bet we all remember our first day here, the day we got a driver's license, our SAT scores, the anxiety with which we opened them. I'm sure we will never forget Nate Watson and Dr. Katz. We've learned a lot together here, and I hope that what we have learned the best is to be our best. I'd like to say goodbye with a poem by Douglas Mallock, What It Means to Be the Best. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, be a bit of grass, and some highway happier make. If you can't be a muskie, then just be a bass, but the liveliest bass in the lake. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Congratulations to the class of 1992.
This time, I would like to ask the President of the Cherry Hill Board of Education, Mr. Molotsky, to join me at the podium. Mr. Molotsky, as the principal of Cherry Hill High School West, I present the class of 1992 and assure you that they have fulfilled all of the requirements necessary to certify them for graduation.
Thank you, Rick. On behalf of the Cherry Hill Board of Education, I accept this class of Cherry Hill High School West, class of 1992, and authorize its commencement. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Benjamin Traina of the Cherry Hill Board of Education for the congratulatory remarks. Ben?
Thank you, Mr. Molotsky. Mr. Simon, Principal of Cherry Hill West, the faculty of Cherry Hill West, Superintendent Esprant and members of the superintendency, board members, guests, parents and family members, and most importantly, men and women of the class of 1992. On behalf of the board, it is my honor to acknowledge your achievements over the past 4 years and to congratulate you on your graduation from one of the premier high schools, not only of this area or this state, but of the entire country. Your accomplishments in the classroom and on the stage and in music, and not to mention on the baseball field, have brought credit to you, glory to West, and honor to all of Cherry Hill. For the past 4 years, I have followed your class with close interest. You have never been disappointing. And if I were to try to read a complete list of your individual and group and team awards, prizes, trophies, and other honors, I would be up here much longer than any of us would prefer. Although this is a time to praise your past, it is also a time to direct your attention to the future. In the weeks, months, and years ahead, you will have to make many decisions. You will make choices about the serious issues of career and marriage, and politics, and on social questions, all having heavy moral and ethical overtones. Many people will be grabbing at your elbow, asking for your time or money, or more importantly, your emotions, your heart. Some of these issues are noble and mainstream and relevant. Others are controversial or on the fringe or worse. A paramount problem for our dynamic democracy is how we, individually, categorize these issues. Noble, base, fringe, mainstream. Class of 1992, I ask, on what basis will you make these choices? What criteria or frame of reference will you use? Ultimately, what are your core values? Other choices you make will involve the less weighty areas of hobbies, recreation, sports, music, or whatever arcane or esoteric subject you may enjoy. For those of you going on to college, you will be confronted with dozens of campus activities, official and unofficial, from which to choose. Recently, I happened to read a long list of groups located on one Midwestern campus. Some of them, I thought, were rather exotic, if not actually gamey. But the point is, these are your decisions to make, not mine or anyone else's. Again, I ask, on what basis, with what values will you make your decisions? Hopefully, you will not be swayed by fads or over-emotionalism or the latest sensationalism in the media or on campus. Hopefully, we, your parents and teachers, have given you the intellectual and moral stamina to look below the surface of our sometimes chaotic and sometimes unpleasant world. Hopefully, after more consideration, you will find the reality of the beauty and the wonder, the basic goodness that surely is at the heart of our world. A person need not be condemned as a Pollyanna, a cockeyed optimist, to use a phrase from an old song, nor as having permanently implanted rose-colored contact lenses to say our world is basically good. The future, with all of its choices, is yours. Hopefully, it will be within a positive framework on a life-affirming basis that you will make all of your choices. In conclusion, again, congratulations. I wish you Godspeed. I end with the old salute to life. L'chaim.
Okay, now I would like to ask my colleagues and the members of the Board of Education to join me in distributing the diplomas to this class of 1992. Mr. Simon, please assist us by having the names of the members read.
Scott Adam Greenbaum, James Robert McNaughton, Daniel J. Rabinowitz, Adam Heath Goldberg, Brian Michael Simmers, Eliza Perez, David James Watson, Angela Young Sin, David A. Less, Jerry Dawn Shevsky, Susan Chan, Karen Elaine Weinberg, Walter Giroux Clymer, Nicole Haney Williamson, Jared Jenkins, Lisa Marie Allmiller, Brian Anderson Mulford, Barbara Joyce Lord, Jeffrey Mark Gergenti, Gina Marie Sierra, Jason Michael Chine, Caroline Ruth Chiraco, Christopher Michael Banks, Bronwyn Ann Glansberg, Trevor Robert Shaw, Kathleen Monica Gallagher, Edward Anthony Dietrich Jr., Amy Beth Gray, Ronald John DeFeo, Nicole Louise Casa, Ernest Andrew Ferreni III, Jennifer Ann Lautenbacher, Daniel Scott Farling, Kimberly Rose Malia Smith, Arthur Mario Cesaro III, Susan Schuyler Michaud, Nancy Wong, Nicholas Joseph Mihowski,
Maria Jennifer Piconia, Brian Paul Hollingsworth, Amy Dara Sonor, Brett Neil Levin, Heather Brooke Gross, David Jeffrey Back, Sherry Pam Sklar, David Justin Peschel, Amy Beth Rosen, Richard Artsey, Elizabeth Ann Atkins, Mark Charles Donofrio, Amanda Christina Main, Mindy Pearl Lander, Cara Jane Romeo, Anthony Ippolito, Karen Jo Bender, Ross Adam Konatsky, Rebecca Susan Traina, David Ward Munn, Stephanie Dina Kutsavitis, Bryant Edward Hicks, Toby Celine Davidow, Gregory Charles Murray, Lisa Ann Feynman, Brett Anthony Kesdia, Lisa Ann Sassano, Robert Lawrence Ergood, Brandy Marie Jericho, Michael John Festa, Tricia Ann Kashan, Scott Jeffrey Engel.
Thomas Nunzio Bianco, Maria Antonio Berladas, Kyle J. Young, Andrea Lee Duvall, Robert Brooke Bergman, Stacy Allison Zembel, Jonathan Todd Most, Heather Christine Gallagher, Gregory Edward Tyndall, Jessica Daniels, Abdul Jabbar Seegers, Andrea Beth Tomasetti, Chan Gyu Kang, Candace Blair Fisher, Richard Joseph McMullen, Sarah Karen Schneiderman, James Michael Gannon, Elisa Maria Skoka, Christopher Leroy Kearns, Kathy Marie Reagan, Anthony Thomas Barbera, Kimya Yvette Alford, Anthony Brendan Highland, Dominique Borda, Mohammed Zulfiqar Ahmed Khan, Charla Christine Mano, Adam Craig Wilgard, Anna Sylvia Gregor, Joseph Philip Gray, Marlene Lynn Kryza, John W. Heller Jr., Nikki Arbitier,
Sarah Rachel Seliger, Mark Bernard Savalos, Larry Charles Floyd Jr., Tracy Sarnice, David Mark Das, Rebecca Lee Wright, Jennifer Lynn Smith, Melissa Jan Amon, Elaine Elizabeth Komentowski, Din Fei Wen, Jamie John Exley, Michelle Diana Attias, Amanda J. Kelly, Tiffany Susan D'Amico, Jennifer Lynn Dodato, Sean Richard McFarland, Lori Suzanne Melson, Aaron Harry Goodman, Patricia Lynn Thiel, Kevin Barry Brickner, Jordana Kaplan, Eric Anthony Zimmerman, Gavriel Moshe Haina, Christopher A. Del Rossi, Anna Stepanskaya, Ashanti Nicole Speller, Christine Marie Trumfeller, Michael Joseph McGinley, Maria Ann DeVito, Michael Charles Anthony Volk, Diana Kim O'Rourke, Andrew Trowbridge Hill.
Scott Brian Love, Aglaya John Ballas, Eric Justin Russin, Julie Michelle Carty, Ralph L. Barbera Jr., Yoon Jin Quag, Monique Michelle Vitale, Chi-Yan Jennifer Kim, Leonard Michael Giacobetti, Dana Charlene Pechan, Michael Sereno Kayubayan, Chanel Vickers, John Russell Sermonera, Amy Elizabeth Hayes, Jeffrey Michael Silverman, Michael James Escudi, Stephen John Schmidt, Sarah Lynn Fox, Jeffrey Jarrett Thistle, Sarah Therese Sullivan, Jonathan Peter Keppel, Jennifer Elizabeth Slavinsky, Anthony Vincent Busa, Lynn Inga Davis, Marcus Joseph Baraducci, Nancy Maria Prashowitz, Albert Daniel Incolingo, Tracy Lynn Barnes, Joel Francis Farrell, Heather Lynn Pertwee, Michael Lawrence Emmerly, Irene Goncharovsky,
Anitha Sarah John, James Scott Clinton, Amy Beth Augustine, Egidio Joe Atanasio, Melissa Camila Connell, Melissa Velez, Nicole Hillary Nanku, John Fitzgerald Williams, Wadith Stockinger Nader, Charles Francis Warrington, Kim Elaine Higginbotham, Kurt Anthony Scobo, Liesel Alexandra Shuzan, Angel Danielle Hopkins, Kimberly Beth Folbaum, Greg Howard Walkus, Michelle Onyin Kwok, Edgardo Matthew Saldana Jr., Colleen Marie Connors, Chongqing Chang, Nicole Lynn Overby, Christopher James Musso, Christine Jennifer Murray, Julia Kathleen Tarantini, Hyung Yun Kwan, Amilcare Edward Tetty, Gloria Jill Lavender, Shane Gregory Campbell, Anne Elizabeth Caraway, Sean Keith Lyons, Stephen Edsel Muller, Lee Bronwyn Newman.
John B. King Jr., Gina Cavella, Adam Thomas Fausnot, Irene Patricia Barbarino, Luis Fernando Martinez, Alexandra Marie Claude Cruz, Calvin Leslie Clarence Fowler, Melissa Ann Speckman, Joel Matthew Gilpin, Yen Yak Chung, Thomas Michael Zepnicki, Cindy Wang, Gary Michael Dean, Rachel Christie Strayer, Robert F. Farrell Jr., Caroline Jennifer Green, Stephen Thomas Porter, Helena Maria Bowling, Jason Andrew Conley, Jessica Lynn Erdman, Tyler Penny, Donna Gloria Daniello, Michael Patrick Salomon Jr., Christina Marie McGee, Brad Michael Pasella, Olga Apartin, Christopher George Sapak, Joanne Brabazon, Jason Frank Gambone, Jennifer Lynn Becker, James David Seeley Jr., Pamela Karen Cito,
Gwen Marie Dottie, Giovanni Spiritoso, Bridget Ann Bain, Robert E. Steele, Nicole Marie Rita Severino, Shane Dennis Pelletier, Leonard Joseph Campbell, Michael Zachary Diamond, Marlene Monteleone, Gregory Thomas Malisich, Charles Daniel Brown, Brolio Villegas, Christina Ann Russo, Andrew McInnes Norton, Colleen Brint Kelly, Matthew Franklin Wilson, Jennifer Donald Lem, Michael Scott Blaze, Sarah Catherine Duvall, Michelle Dawn Timty, Sabrina Tejera, Tara Angela Mitchell, Ting Chu Chang, Michael Joel Katz, Erica Carrasquillo, Brenton Joseph Crowther, Tina Marie Willis, Robert Harris Mullen, Christy Marie Smith, Julie Beth Isidore, Rudolph Pelias Goles, Jeffrey Forrest Wenzel.
Michael Joshua Levitz, Jill Marcy Slotkin, Christopher David Croce, Mara Bratos, Stefan Michael Merrill, Gina Marie Markhorst, Haru Mabaya Self, Farah Diane Lippitz, Philip Alexander Steed, Faith Rashatur, Stephen John Mariansky, Erica Harriet Collins, Brian Jefferson Grigsby, Song-Mi Lee, Michael Ira Kushner, Karen Christine Redden, Louis Francis Ernst Jr., Daniel Patrick Foley, Jay Nan Chang, Joseph Romano, Mark Anthony Bruno, Brian Rossi, Robert Stephen Cobbs, Lawrence Dustin Blumberg, David Francis Patella Jr., Gary Wayne Pryor Jr., Paul Andrew Keppel, David Arthur Messler, Philip Salvatore Sharman,
Cecilia Clara Beyer, Stephen Morosky, Kim M. Cahoot, Kevin Lee Jacoby, Audrey Gail Constantino, Russell Clifton Boone, Michelle Catherine DeShields, Christopher David Scarborough, Hay Young Park, Albert Richard Spell, Jr., Jennifer Abbott Allen, Ernst Frederick Locks III, Tracy Donna Eisenhart, Peter Emidio Fabiani, Vicky Maywa Lee, Alma Angela Santos, Hosanna Catherine Smith, John Papineri, Maria Razulis, Martin Charles Stutzman, Michelle Helena Howard, William Joseph Ferrari, Chung Ah Kim, Jung Min Kwan, Tamara Stein, Christopher Marcel Boyce, Margaret Mary Quinn Wilson, Matthew H. Cohen, Christina Rose Engel, Jonathan Santos Kenlapen, David Kevin Ulmer, Nan Victoria Jung, Randall Lee Sila, Antonio Scotto Di Perta, Michael Anthony Pagnotti, Michael Bruce Binder, Mark Stephen DeGaio, Peter Gerald Welding.
At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise and join the choir and the graduates in singing the Cherry Hill High School West Alma Mater.